In this package, Udom Emmanuel promises total turnaround of infrastructure in the local government area. He voted as next governor of Akwa Ibom State. APC legal advisor decamps to PDP, says he was wasting in the opposition. Professor of Sociology of Religion wants government to regulate churches by imposing licenses and permits to check fraudsters. And Lady Maya Ndong is at 85. Details shortly. Good morning and welcome to AKBC 45 News at dawn. I am Blessing Isonguyo. Udom Gabriel Emmanuel has promised a total turnaround of infrastructure in a local government area if he becomes the next governor of Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Udom Emmanuel made a promise when he unfolded to the people programs that will improve on their well-being if voted into power. The occasion was the visit of the Udom Moses campaign team to Ini local government, where they were received at Odorikpe headquarters of Ini local government area. Etienne Ibanga reports.
In a local government council secretariat field at Odorikpe venue of the campaign rally was enlivened with activities by PDP supporters and socio-cultural and political groups from the area. Addressing the rally, Governor Godswill Akpabio thanked the people of Ini for supporting his administration since 2007, but regretted that due to dwindling oil prices, he could not fulfill all the promise for them. The governor announced contracts for rehabilitation of electricity in Ini. Said light will be restored in the area before February 28th elections. Describing government as a continuum, the governor assured that Udom Emmanuel will take on projects his administration has started in the area and called on them to vote for him.
Udom Emmanuel can fulfill those promises.
The PDP governorship candidates, Udom Emmanuel said if voted into office, his administration will embark on road construction, build rice processing mill, resuscitate Ini General Hospital, and make Ini food basket of the state, and solicited people's vote in the February 28th election.
We will make sure the next rice mill that will process from seedlings up to those ones that will back will be in the local government.
The state chairman of PDP, Obon Paul Ekpo, and the director general of Udom Emmanuel Moses Ekpo Campaign Council, Otuekong Idonsit Nkanga, canvassed the people's vote for President Goodluck Jonathan, Chief Godswill Akpabio as senator, Ibore Kanem as member for Ikonini Federal Constituency, and Mr. Emmanuel Ekpenyong for Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly on February 14th and 28th elections. The Ini PDP chapter chairman, Elder Israel Idaisin, local government chairman, Edet Mawatem, Commissioner for Women Affairs, Dr. Gloria Edet, Chief Okata Akpan, Dr. Godwin Urodo, Chief Otu Robert, and student representative Idonsit Micah, and their solidarity messages promised to vote massively for PDP and all its candidates for continuity and good governance. Etienne Ibanga reporting.
The people of Etinan have reaffirmed their support for the People's Democratic Party in this month's general election. They made their stand known when the Udom Emmanuel Moses Ekpo campaign team landed in Etinan, where the governorship candidate unfolded his programs to Etinan people if voted into power. Patience John reports that the rally took place at the Etinan local government secretariat grounds.
Adorning the arena with various colors of uniforms were supporters of Udom Emmanuel for governor in the forthcoming elections and other candidates under the People's Democratic Party for various political offices. They included members of various social, political, economic and professional groups wearing t-shirts and face caps with various inscriptions. Indigenous artists from Etinan, along with others, excited the crowd. sons of the state, including a former deputy governor, Engineer Chris Ekpenyong, a former minister, Chief Ndwese Sien, and Senator Effiong Bob, were addressed the people, called on them to vote for all the PDP candidates and President Goodluck Jonathan. The state chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Obong Paul Ekpo, and the Director General of the Udom Emmanuel Moses Ekpo Campaign Council, Otuekong Idonsankanga, thanked the people for supporting the PDP and presented the candidates to the people. For governorship is Udom Emmanuel, Senator for Uyo Senatorial District, Obong Basi Albert, for Etinan Federal Constituency, Elder Sam Mikon, who is presently the Speaker in the State House of Assembly, and the candidate for Etinan State Constituency, Barrister Anyefiok Dennis. The governorship candidate under the PDP in the state, Mr. Udom Emmanuel, appreciated the people of Etinan for welcoming the team and promised to give one of their foremost educational facilities, the Etinan Institute, a first lift, construct roads as well as establish industries in the area.
Etinan is one of the major locations. Because of that, pick up Etinan more. When you have Etinan, better site, industrial together, and you produce another industry.
Governor Akpabio, while addressing the people, reminded them to collect their permanent voters' cards to enable them exercise their franchise. The governor announced that already contract has been awarded for the construction of Ikodeswa, Ikodonanga, Ikododoto Road, and promised the construction of the road leading to the leprosy hospital in the area. He advised the people to be steadfast and committed to the PDP by voting for Udom Emmanuel, who, according to him, will bring more development to the state.
And behold, the Bible says that a child shall be born for you. And the name shall be Emmanuel. And it shall be God with God. And the government shall be upon his shoulder. And he shall have a Moses. Who will lead him to the coming back? And show him the way as the devil goes. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we now have an Emmanuel from Orlando government.
The chairman of Etinan local government, Mr. Kenneth Okon, appreciated the campaign team for stopping over at Etinan and promised the support of his people to the People's Democratic Party. The campaign team had Governor Akpabio and wife Ekaite, the state deputy governor, Lady Valerie Ebe, party elders, other stakeholders, political office holders, and supporters of the People's Democratic Party. High point was the presentation of gifts to Governor Akpabio and wife, including a live cow. Patience John reporting.
The state legal advisor of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Barrister Andem has decamped to the People's Democratic Party. Barrister Andem, who publicly denounced APC during the PDP campaign rally at Etinan, said that he was wasting his resources and energy in the opposition camp when PDP has shown commitment to the development of the state and has performed creditably in other areas.
Like I have done, and come down to the big umbrella, which is big enough to take everybody. I advise him that he needs to come and go. After all, what is all of them? I've been there, and I'm not on my own. Everybody can have fun in our bag of your young one. Sorry now, Udom is already right, it's already on top.
A former senior personal assistant to the governor on project monitoring and PDP House of Assembly aspirant for 18 state constituency, Akparawan Seube, has called for total support for PDP, Mr. Udom Emmanuel and other party candidates. Akparawan Seube made the call in Etinan when he handed over his structure to the PDP candidate in the area shortly after a successful hosting of Udom Emmanuel Moses Ekbo campaign team in Etinan. The story is presented in our studios.
Called on the people to vote for President Goodluck Jonathan as president, Mr. Udom Gabriel Emmanuel as the next governor of Akwa Ibom State, and Barrister Aniefiong Dennis as member to represent Etinan State constituency. People to vote for President Goodluck Jonathan as president, Mr. Udom Gabriel Emmanuel as the next governor of Akwa Ibom State, and Barrister Aniefiong Dennis as member representing Etinan State constituency. Coming at the heels of the presidential campaign in Uyu and the Udom Moses governorship campaign tour of Etinan on Saturday last week, Akparawan Seube, who was an aspirant to the State House of Assembly, described the candidates of the party as men of honor who are ready to serve the people. He told his campaign directors, canvassers, and supporters in Etinan to work for the election of Barrister Aniefiong Dennis in the February 28 House of Assembly election, adding that his decision to hand over the structure was in the spirit of sportsmanship. Responding to the gesture, the PDP House of Assembly candidate for Etinan State constituency, Barrister Dennis, praised Akparawan Seube for his noble action. Barrister Dennis announced the appointment of the Director General of Nseube Campaign Organization, Obong Patrick Udofia, as his Deputy Campaign Director General, and said the PDP would win the elections convincingly.
I have huge respect for him. In young primary, we have this family relationship. It has been existing for a very long time. And if you cannot work, you cannot ignore the politics. Nobody can ignore him.
Speeches by the former Director General of Nseube Campaign Organization, Obong Patrick Udofia, Head of Media Team, Mr. Samuel Akpan, Deputy Campaign Manager, Mr. Ime Brown, Leader of Friends of Nseube, Obong Iwad Imanibum, and the Women Coordinator, Mrs. Helen Ekong, had extolled the qualities of Akparawan Seube and praised his maturity in teaming up with his former opponent for greater interest of Etinan and the People's Democratic Party.
A professor of sociology of religion in the University of Uyo, Very Reverend Father John Umor, has emphasized the need for governments to regulate the proliferation of churches by issuing operational licenses and permits. According to him, such regulations will help to checkmate indiscriminate establishment of churches and those he described as religious fraudsters who transact business at the sanctuary. Professor Moore made the advocacy while delivering the 42nd inaugural lecture of the University of Uyo. Etienne Oibanga tells us more.
The 42nd inaugural lecture of the University of Uyo has shifted from sciences to religion. Religiously inclined, the inaugural lecture delivered by a Catholic priest had the topic, Reaping the Heavenly Dividends Before the Heavenly Reward, the civic, socio-economic and political dimension of the religious institution. Professor Moore hinted that due to the wrong interpretation of the pastoring ministry today as the most lucrative and profit-oriented business enterprise, many instances of religious conflict could be traced to undue attempts by some selfish religious bodies to outdo others in matters of doctrine and worship, so as to have the advantage of increase in membership. According to the professor, hills associated with religions are really not in the nature of religious itself as a belief system and ideology, but in the nature of member, stressing that no religion advises its adherents to kill or maim as part of its doctrinal proclamations. Such behavior, in most cases, is said result in conflicting tendencies, which at the end become hostile to others who do not subscribe to such orientation. The professor maintained that as a system of organization, religion is both spiritual and social, hence the need to further improve the social well-being of citizens. Professor Moore called on religious institutions to see their mission as a genuine call to liberate the people from earthly misery, so that their efforts at evangelizing may not be seen as a one-sided or hypocritical. He said efforts by religious bodies towards the provision of social services in rural communities should be encouraged and supported by both local and state government, since these institutions are more closer to the people. Professor Moore urged the religious institutions to consider themselves not only instruments of spiritual salvation, but also agents of community development, so as to demonstrate their good intention towards the people's welfare. According to him, scientific inability to provide any meaningful answers to some of the unfolding events in recent times, including the disappearance of over 300 Chibok girls, recent outbreak of Ebola virus, among others, call for divine intervention, rather than continue to rely on science and its promises, even when science itself, in some cases, has surrendered.
The conclusion that this study reached is the fact that so many instances religion has had positive effects. And so the recommendations made there are quite many as to what to do for the Nigerian government to trust.
The Vice Chancellor, University of Uyo, Professor Comfort Ekpo, commended the inaugural lecturer, Professor Moore, for bringing his expertise to bear in the delivery, noting that it was necessary for people to know steps to take before reaping from harvest. Commenting on the topic of the lecture, reaping the heavenly dividend before the heavenly reward, the civil, socio-economic, and political dimension of the religious institution, Professor Ekpo said many who believe that they will only be rewarded in heaven should have a rethink, as every seed a man sowed must bear fruit, provided it is well watered and nurtured.
Because there is no knowledge that is for nothing. God is never on a picnic. When God gives you opportunity to do one thing or the other, He knows that that thing that you are doing is going to be useful to the people around you.
Etienne Oibanga reporting.
We'll take a break here. When we return, the news continues. Please stay with us.
Don't mess with them. The Udom Gabriel Emmanuel at the time I saw the man. Therefore, it's a man that made it when finally His Excellency Ajopo Minister, they can be noted that I put the Moses. When you look at what you want to get, I get a point on Joseph Agapanda and I look for Jerusalem. At the amount of one room. See, I'm going to get to the man of the Rabbi. When they make a full of it, all of us is the best full of the end. Somebody in a man. You know, is that the army? You know.
Udom is right and fair. For Udom is the best. For Kwai said, Udom is right and fair. Behold our next governor.
Glad to have you back. 30 lawyers of Akwa Ibom State origin are to be sponsored by the state government to further their studies in specialized areas of law in various institutions overseas. This is in fulfillment of a promise earlier made by the state governor, Chief Godswill Akpabio. The Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Barrister Wemedi Monwoko, disclosed this when executive members of the Uyo branch of the Nigerian Bar Association paid him a custom visit in his office. He promised to pay due attention to the branch requests in order to sustain the robust relationship existing between it and the present administration.
The established barman, Chief Dr. Godswill Akpabio, CON, has acquitted not only himself, but he has also acquitted the bar in Nigeria. Today, I'm sure if we want to ask for who can take Nigeria to the next level, people will very easily say, call in a lawyer. Because Godswill Akpabio has shown that lawyers can do it.
The Solicitor General and Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Lady Gloria Morin, said the Ministry has been instrumental to the success story of the Nigerian Bar Association in the state, maintaining that lawyers from the Ministry have over the years been sponsored to attend the yearly conference of the association. She noted that the relationship between the official and private bar has been quite cordial, except when members of the official bar win cases.
The official bar angle, I make sure that my law officers are operating within the ambits of the profession and within the ambits of the law.
The NBA chairman, Uyo branch, Mr. Mfonuyo, congratulated Barrister Nwoko on his new appointment, describing it as timely and well-deserved. Mr. Uyo appealed to the Attorney General to use his position as the Chief Law Officer and leader of the official bar in the state to persuade the governor to facilitate the completion and commissioning of the Secretariat of the branch as a legacy to his name. He also pleaded with the Attorney General to advise government to ensure that courts are open for lawyers in private practice to resume work.
So far said and improve on the areas that changes are imminent. Area when Minister of Justice used to be hideout for lazy lawyers is over. The bar is appreciative of the efforts of the management team in the ministry.
A new executive has been inaugurated to steer the affairs of Uyo Club 1935 for another 2 years. The club's new president and former chairman of Ikodobasi local government, Barrister Uweme Kanem, promised innovations that will put the club on a new social pedestal. The event, which took place at the clubhouse, Wellington Basiwe End, Uyo, also featured the induction of 41 new and live members. Fortune Omoshala has more.
We are here because we are here because we are here.
Since its inception in 1935, the Uyo Club has served as an avenue for recreation, especially for sport lovers, and its phenomenon of leadership has trusted it among its social peers. This time, the leadership baton passed from Barrister Senobong Akpabio and his team to a new executive led by Barrister Uweme Kanem to hold sway for the next 2 years. Past presidents, patrons, political actors and guests watched with admiration as the baton of leadership changed hands.
As the president of Uyo Club 1935, I will discharge my obligations to the club and perform my duties and functions assigned to me honestly.
The immediate past president of the Uyo Club about to hand over the mantle of leadership, and he does that. Can you please clap for him? And that
use it as it pleases you, but for the good of this club. Thank you.
A bigger round of applause as he went any attempt or attempted attempt.
Reinforcing the objectives of the club, the outgone president, Senobong Akpabio, threw light on some of his two-term achievements, which include the construction of a mini golf course, among others. He called on his successor to break new grounds in their new assignment.
Today, the section has won laurels in golf competition within and outside the country. I stand here to say with modesty that I have represented this country, I think 3 times in golf tournaments in South Africa and in London, and it is because we were able to create that section. It is fervent belief that this incoming ESCO would surpass the achievements of this outgoing ESCO.
O.M. Ekanem, the new club president, outlined his plans for the new term while seeking support of club members to take Uyo Club 1935 to new heights. He, however, implored the state government not to renege on promises made to the club, which includes a facelift.
On our part, as new executives, I assure you that we shall do all that is required of us to meet your expectations. However, we hereby appeal to His Excellency to assist us financially to upgrade our present clubhouse and facilities. We also seize the opportunity of this occasion to implore the financial assistance of corporate bodies and friends towards the implementation of our projects and programs.
The new president swore in his executives and inducted new members. Speaking earlier, the chairman on the occasion and a former deputy governor in the state, Dr. Chris Ekpayong, praised the peaceful transition of leadership, calling on those in the corridors of power to emulate such transparency.
This is the only club that you don't talk about sectionalism. Or I would say an environment that there is no sectionalism, nobody talks of Anang, nobody talks of Idibio, nobody talks of Obolos. For another one to come in. I wish that the political players in the country and the Bible should come and learn from you.
There was also the investiture of life members consisting of adults over 70 years of age. To date, the Uyo Club 1935 has well over 1,000 members who fulfill roles in public and private sectors of the state. Fortune Omoshola reporting.
Lady Grace Mayen Udoma, wife of the late EBBO Patriarch Justice Ebet Udo Udoma, is dead. Lady Grace has served a frontline women's leader and matron of the Methodist Church Nigeria, died in her sleep on January 17 as a result of some health-related problems. As wife of the one-time Chief Justice of Uganda, Lady Grace was very active in the activities of the Ugandan women and became president of the Uganda Women's Christian Association and matron of the Red Cross Association there. She had earlier practiced her Christian faith actively and was a member of the Aba Methodist Church, where she gave classes to the women members of the church. Back in Nigeria after her stint in Kampala, Lady Grace served in the Women's Fellowship of the Trinity Methodist Church, Tinubu, Lagos, as well as the Ebenezer Methodist Church, Ibekwe, in the Kodabasi local government area, where she also served as the Women's Fellowship President and Treasurer. It was in appreciation of her meritorious services to God and humanity, giving and nurturing disposition, that the Ebenezer Methodist Church, her home church, honored her with the title of Ekaibere Demiban. The late Ekaibere Demiban, who had aspired to be a Nigerian Florence Nightingale when she chose the nursing profession early in life, also took up sewing as a vocation to occupy her when she was not catering for her family's needs or contributing to church activities. She was seen and known by friends, family members, relatives, and admirers as an embodiment of strength, dignity, fortitude, intelligence, and determination, and would greatly be missed for her passion and diligence in inspiring and motivating young women to success. However, her deep value for education, lifelong devotion to God's work, undaunted tenacity, and sacrificial living are values for which she will forever be remembered. The matriarch of the Udo Udoma family, consummate lady and mother, who died at 87, would be greatly missed by her 6 children, including Senator Udoma Udo Udoma, chairman of UAC Nigeria PLC and the Union Bank of Nigeria PLC, as well as others who were privileged to have met her. The late Lady Grace Mayen Udoma will be laid to rest on Friday, February 6, 2015 at Mfuditiadenin, residence of the Udomas in Ikodabasa. More members of the Muslim Brotherhood have continued to be sentenced to death by the court in Egypt. This forms part of foreign news reports presented by Chris Nka.
On 193 supporters of the Muslim Brotherhood, they have been convicted of taking part in an attack on a police station in Cairo in 2013, in which around a dozen police officers died. The initial sentences were handed down in December, but were sent to the Grand Mufti, Egypt's top religious authority, for ratification. Hundreds of death sentences have been pronounced on members of the Muslim Brotherhood, but none has been carried out. Thailand has stepped up security in Bangkok after 2 small bombs exploded at a luxury mall in the capital overnight. 2 people suffered minor injuries. Though no one has claimed responsibility, the circumstances led police to believe that the motive was to create panic rather than take lives. The blast was the first to hit the capital living under martial law since the military coup in May. Tensions have been running high since the army approved Parliament's ban of Prime Minister from politics for 5 years. The decision angered her supporters, but so far there has been no return to the violent street protests witnessed last year, and after the latest blast, it's unlikely the martial law would be lifted anytime soon. Almost 4 years after his arrest in New York on allegations of rape, former IMF chief Dominic Strauss-Kahn is back in court. He is facing charges of aggravated procuring for the purposes of prostitution, commonly known as pimping. The case, which has become known as the Carlton Affair, concerns certain sex parties and prostitution ring centered on the Carlton Hotel in the northern French city of Lille. If found guilty, the one-time French finance minister could face up to 10 years in jail with a 1.5 million euro fine. A second major snowstorm in a week has hit the U.S., causing traffic chaos from Nebraska to Pennsylvania. A huge winter weather system has done more than 30 centimeters of snow in the Chicago area, causing over 1,000 flights to be cancelled. Forecasters say the storm is particularly slow-moving, leaving the owners of airports to deal with thousands of disgruntled passengers.
Trying to get back today, our flight at 1:55 was canceled. Unfortunately, we were here quite early because of the weather, and they didn't let us know until just now, so we're trying to see. They can't get us back out until Tuesday.
We thought we would be home today, but it's not turning out that way, so we're standing in line now waiting for a voucher to get a hotel.
That's all we have for you on the news this morning, but before we go, another look at the top stories. The people of Etienen have reaffirmed their support for the People's Democratic Party in this month's general elections. They made their stand known when the Udom Emmanuel Moses Ekpo campaign train landed in Etienen, where the governorship candidate unfolded his programs to Etienen people if voted into power. A professor of sociology of religion in the University of Uyo, Very Reverend Father John Moore, has emphasized the need for government to regulate the proliferation of churches by issuing operational licenses and permits. That's the news. Thanks for watching, and do have a blessed day. Good morning.